When we think of power, we think of governments, presidents, armies. But what if there was a single family, unelected, unseen, whose influence stretches across an entire continent? No headlines, no public offices, just quiet control through land, law, and legacy. You won't find their name in textbooks, but their decisions shape nations. This is the story of the family that may not rule officially, but effectively owns a continent. They don't show up on Forbes lists, no viral interviews, no luxury flaunting. But behind shell companies and trusts, this family controls ports, land, water rights, and energy infrastructure across an entire continent, all without ever stepping into the spotlight. Their true power lies in staying invisible and in never needing permission. We're not talking about ruling a nation like a monarch. This family's influence extends across borders. Their holdings are spread through dozens of companies in mining, energy, agriculture, logistics, quietly embedded in almost every country on one continent. Some estimate they control strategic assets in over 20 nations. But how? The family's empire began over 150 years ago during colonial expansion. As European powers carved up territory, one merchant family acquired massive land grants, not to govern, but to extract. Over decades, they expanded from traders to land barons to energy brokers. While empires collapsed, their influence grew. Because they never needed a flag, just deeds, contracts, and silence. Today, their name is hidden behind hundreds of holding companies, often headquartered in neutral financial zones like Luxembourg, Guernsey, or Singapore. Each company controls a small piece, a dam here, a port there, a shipping fleet, a rail line. On paper, it's all fragmented. But follow the trail far enough, and it all links back to one family office. The cornerstone of their power is land, vast, unpublicized ownership of agricultural zones, mining rights, and even water basins. In one region, they own over 6 million hectares, more than the size of some small countries. In another, they lease land for 99 years with automatic renewals. Politicians come and go, but the land, it stays in the family. Forget palaces or jets. Their real luxury is control over infrastructure. This family owns the companies that move goods, power cities, and distribute resources. In several countries, they hold quiet monopolies over ports, electrical grids, or fuel supply chains. Governments rely on them, and in some cases, can't function without them. In drought-prone regions, they hold the keys to water. Through buried agreements, they own aquifers, manage reservoirs, and even control rain capture systems via private contractors. In one case, locals paid this family's company more for water than for rent. Yet the public still doesn't know who they're paying, only the logo on the bill. You'd think something this big would cause outrage. But here's the trick: they never appear in politics. No campaign funding, no office holding. Instead, they embed trusted executives into advisory roles, lobby through third-party groups, and write white papers adopted as law. Their name stays out of the headlines, but their ideas end up in the legislation. Unlike most dynasties, they don't chase quarterly profits. Their family office operates on 100-year strategies. Their investments don't need to pay off tomorrow, they need to reshape entire economies over decades. Some believe they've mapped population shifts, climate zones, and economic patterns for the next 50 years, and are buying accordingly. They've erased their online footprint. No LinkedIn, no personal websites. Photos are decades old. One journalist called them the family that Google can't find. Even public documents use proxies. Their heirs are educated at elite schools under aliases. At social events, they don't mention their last name. Power like this lives in complete digital silence. Employees sign lifetime NDAs. Contractors use burner phones. Some regional managers don't even know who they ultimately work for. This distributed ignorance creates a fortress. If no one person knows the full map, no one can expose it. The strategy is simple: decentralize the truth, and no one can destroy the structure. In several major crises, currency crashes, food shortages, natural disasters, their companies have quietly stepped in. But not for charity. They buy distressed assets, secure exclusive rights, and expand reach while governments are distracted. While others scramble, they consolidate. Some say, never let a good crisis go to waste. And they never do. A handful of insiders have tried to leak information and vanished from public life. One economist published a thread linking key companies back to the family's foundation. It was deleted within hours, his account gone. Another whistleblower claimed their family office uses AI tools to monitor any mention of their name across the internet in real time. Sometimes, they don't even own the asset, they control the debt. In several countries, their entities underwrite massive infrastructure loans. If the government defaults, the family doesn't sue. They quietly take over operations. Roads, bridges, dams managed privately through temporary receivership, and temporary often becomes permanent. So which continent are we talking about? Experts point to Africa, a place of vast resources, developing economies, and weak land regulation systems. Over 60% of arable land is unregistered. Combine that with foreign trust structures, and you have the perfect playground for invisible empire building. But officially, there's no record of ownership. International organizations have tried to track land and infrastructure ownership. But every time, they run into shell companies, legal walls, or mysteriously missing data. In one case, a global registry listed 22 companies as separate, only to discover they all shared the same offshore law firm, board members, and silent investor. Because no one knows who to fight, the family avoids attention, not just for secrecy, but for survivability. If people knew one unelected family controlled energy, food, and water in 20-plus countries, it would cause political chaos. So they blend in. No flashy lifestyles, just quiet, generational control, behind the curtain. What's the ultimate goal? Not wealth, they already have that. Not fame, they avoid it. The endgame seems to be quiet dominion, to own enough of the world that their influence becomes systemic, impossible to remove. Not through war, votes, or armies, but through ownership. Because the real rulers aren't elected, they're entrenched. Power this vast doesn't pass by accident. The family's heirs are reportedly chosen not by birth order, but by psychological profiling, global mobility readiness, and loyalty tests. Groomed from childhood, they're rotated through roles in finance, logistics, diplomacy, and AI strategy. By age 30, each one controls a sector. By 40, a region. It's not inheritance. It's a quiet coronation, every generation, without public notice. Some experts now argue this isn't just financial power, it's neo-feudalism. One private family, controlling land, labor, and law across sovereign nations, without borders or flags. If the world slips into deeper instability, climate collapse, currency devaluation, failed states, this family isn't just protected. They're positioned to rule, without ever appearing on a ballot. That's not business, that's empire, perfected. The family's latest move, data dominance. Their firms now fund AI research, fiber optic networks, and satellite constellations over developing regions. Not to innovate, but to own the digital rails. In one country, every mobile transaction passes through a network they installed. Control the data, control the future, and in the age of AI, silence is no longer protection, it's a weapon. Outwardly, they appear generous, funding schools, clinics, and sustainable projects. But dig deeper, and these are strategic placements, schools built near mines, clinics that serve workers from family-owned plantations. The branding says community uplift, but the paperwork says long-term labor retention. It's not charity, it's vertical integration, disguised as goodwill. Their influence isn't just economic, it's cultural. Through silent investments, they fund film studios, publishing houses, and education platforms. The result? A slow rewriting of narratives, stories that normalize privatized infrastructure, glorify global elites, or subtly erase land disputes. This isn't censorship, it's editorial control. By those who never appeared in the credits, governments claim to invite open bids for key infrastructure, roads, dams, railways. But what if every major bidder answers to the same backer? Through shell firms and investment funds, the family ensures they win no matter what. The illusion of choice keeps regulators quiet and citizens complacent. Because when every road leads back to one office, competition is just theater. So, is it possible? Could one family really own the systems beneath an entire continent? Is it genius strategy, or quiet colonization 2.0? Drop your theories in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you want more deep dives into the hidden power structures shaping our world. Until next time, stay sharp, because sometimes the people pulling the strings never step into the light.